Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. My name is Maisha. Welcome back if you're here again. Thank you so much for joining me. And now I'm going to actually break down the sixth house. So I'm completing the earth houses. So I did the second house, which is the earth house. That's ruled by Taurus. And now I'm going to move into the sixth house that is ruled by Virgo, and it's mutable, and it deals with the element of earth, of course, right? We're working through the earth houses. So first and foremost, when we're talking about the sixth house, this is further into perception when it comes to the way we view the world. So as we move from our value and self-worth, the second house teaches us those things. And we jump on into the sixth house. We're talking about the energy signature of the sixth house, which deals with our health. It deals with any pets that we have, small domesticated pets. Or big pets you might have at home, but not wild animals. That was more 12th house, right? It deals with our work routines. And it also deals with the subconscious aspect of our psychology when it comes to our services, right? So the second house deals with more the baby stepping into like what we feel we deserve and the way we operate on that level. It deals with the way we operate on a level to seeing, okay, I value this, so this is what I'll do for work. Whereas the sixth house gets a little bit more in depth. So we're going from the personality to understanding through others, right? The sixth house deals with ourself in relationship with others, not on a romantic level. This deals with the platonic relationships due to our service. So the energy that one must realize and understand when it comes to the sixth house is, think of a person that says, like, you can have all the money in the world, but if you have poor health, you won't really enjoy it, right? Or think of the person who is just the one who just takes care of everyone but doesn't take care of themselves. So health is vague. We're talking about health on a physical level. We're talking about fitness, right? Movement, like our physical health. We're also talking about our mental health here. This really gets into the energy of health on many levels. So it's not just it's not just what we do and the actions we take to serving others. How do we help ourselves? Are we healthy physically? Do we have a healthy mental health? Do we have a positive mental health? Because when we're talking about the second house, it deals with our self-esteem and our value on that level, right? That's what we're groomed into, what we tell ourselves and what others tell us. The sixth house is the locked-in belief systems in which we operate with others dependently, independently, codependently. It's our service to the world. So it can get very interesting when we're understanding the energy of the sixth house. It deals with those aspects of ourself, but it also shows up in the world as our services. And like they say, you're only going to give as much as you have within. So sixth house energy really, it kind of shows a person the way to take care of themselves so that they can help others. So let's say you have stellium 6th house, or let's say you have a transits to your 6th house. When we're talking about this energy, we really want to realize that. We want to realize that it starts there. It starts on our state of being, physically, mentally, so that we can operate and do the work. Now, it also shows up as the work that we do. It shows up as the things that we care for, the people, but more domestic. So it's the service. Animals that we take care of in the house is in this area because they're dependent on us. They're domesticated, so they need our help, right? We're servicing to them. It shows the way we take care of our animals. It shows if you have a lot of pets, right? It shows if you have a soul tied to a pet, because pets have consciousness as well, and they can incarnate to have a connection with you, and that can be a contract, a soul, contract. So how we take care of our pets, they need us to feed them, to bathe them sometimes, to groom them, and this is like you really can see someone who is like those people who groom their pets and put them in those shows, like, look at my little puppy, like, so cute, right? These are those people, right? Because it's Virgo energy. It's the 6th house of analyzing, focusing. So yeah, moving into understanding that that's the energy, and that's the way that 6th house energy shows up. It shows up as who we take care of, what we are dependents. But see, look, we take care of people we love, right? But we do it in other ways. We don't do it like I have to feed my grown kid, but some people do, right? It's different in case by case, right? That will look more like 4th house energy, right? Or if it's some type of karma, it can look like some 8th house energy where you have to take care of others. You're receiving money to take care of them. So that could look like 8th house energy, right? Having a disabled child or something like that. But when you think about it, pets fall into this category more than, or plants. Anything you're taking care of, anything that you have to water, anything you have to physically service, children and like people that you may take care of, it will be financial, so that would kind of moving towards 8th house energy or 2nd house energy or 4th house energy, right? How we're financially taking care of people, our emotional connections, our intimacy, 7th house energy. 6th house energy is not that. It's like you literally taking care of something. And not the same way that you would take care of a newborn baby, right? That's different. Or not the same way that you would take care of, that's more 4th house, the moon, the mother, the connection to the womb, all that, right? Or to taking care of your children. It's not the same. They can get in the bath themselves once they reach a certain age. They can feed themselves, right? All those things. And it gets that deep when we're talking about the 6th house. The energy of it and how this shows up in our life. So it really affects us. With people that have a lot of 6th house energy, they really need to feel that they are being useful. They can be utilized. They have an urge, a null, a pulling, a yearning to help others and to be there for others and support others, to help others, to assist them as a guide, as a facilitator, someone that is there. And so one that may have a more debilitated one can utilize, it can show up as a very unhealthy relationship with others, sociopathic tendencies, right? So there's those narcissistic tendencies that can really play out in our 1st house personality. It can play out in our 10th house of career, right? It can play out in any house, the narcissistic energy, or the narcissist energy. But when we're talking about the sociopaths or the psychopaths, these are people who can manipulate and remember, this is not for everyone, okay? But it can negatively aspect people. They can use their service to control others, to be a student of life, observing with the detached, emotionless type of service to people. So they can be if they're deep rooted in a very detached, like if their services are not rendered from love and appreciation for the work they do, let's say that they have this very strong desire to be a part of some organization or something where they're of service, but they're not doing it with care. It can make them very detached from the people they're working with, which can cause sociopathic disorders, or it can show up as that. Psychopathic disorders. These are the people who work in nursing care homes and don't change or, they do it for the money. They're doing a service. This is their work. They're not doing it with love. And so remember, with my channel, I always go in, and it's not for everyone. Everyone is this. I'm not saying this is you. It doesn't make you a very bad caregiver, right? But there's good, bad, and ugly to all things. So understand this as an observer of life. Understand this, that it can play out for better or for worse. A person can use that 6th house energy, and it can be showing up as someone very detached, because it is an earth house. It does deal with observation. So these people can be working, the work that they do can produce fruits from their labor that bring happiness and joy to their heart, or it can produce fruits from their labor that show up as very stern and cold people too. Okay, the energy of the 6th house is not all good all the time, right? It can be negative too. And so one must know, when you're looking at this, when you're observing this, when you're really analyzing your 6th house, be truthful. When you're analyzing someone else's 6th house, because we have people who like to read others' charts and stuff, right? And eventually some people that may watch my channel may even be doing astrology work themselves as a service for others, right? So it's very important to know that we need to be honest. Like, when we ask those questions, like, how is your mental health? How is your physical health? How do you feel? What do you do for the world? Do you help others? Do you have addictive personalities? Do you have bad habits? Do you have good habits? We have to be clear when we're overstanding this energy of the 6th house, right? So it deals with that Virgo energy, the ability to analyze, right? The ability to analyze, the ability to break things down. So these are your micromanagers as well, people that have a lot of 6th house energy. And so this can be very helpful for people who are in a job that requires detail, okay? Great detail. People that may be into writing, people that may be into publishing, anything where you have to correct things. English teachers make great 6th house. 6th house energy make great English teachers, or math. Anything that a person does, it deals with the correcting of something, or the service where someone is improving. So we have to note that when we're talking about the energy, remember, I'm going back to the basis. the energy and the way it shows up in the world will be unique. And the work that we actually choose, it will show how we do the work. So for instance, I have Leo in the 6th house. Leo rules children and theater, and so you want to look at your sign in the 6th house, right? You want to look at the modality, the characteristics of that sign in the 6th house. For me, I have Leo there. So any work that I do, I will shine, I will show up, I'll be fully present and I will, working with the youth or younger or even children is something that I'm drawn to. And in my daily work, I am a teacher. I work with children and families 0 to 5 years old specifically. So young children, I work with them and I love it. It feeds my soul. And it's amazing how I could attract to that. Of course, my Sagittarius energy and 8th house Scorpio stellium energy also gives me this gift of understanding things underneath the veil, hidden sacred knowledge as well. So this is my work that I do on a soul level for others, right? That's dealing more so with my 10th house, my career, my Sagittarius 10th house, and that energy. But when it comes on a understanding the 6th house, this is how you get your daily bread. It might not be the work you do on a soul level, but it definitely shows up as how you are in what you do in your work. That is routine, not something that you choose and you do when the energy feels right and you do on the side and you do as a sole contractor, sole purpose of that nature. It could be. So it's different for everyone. This is why I say know thyself. I am as I am. I am all that I am. Okay? When I know that I am. It is that. And this is the way that we have to learn to understand ourselves, because when we're honest with ourselves, we know our limits. We know how far we want to go and how far we choose to go. Astrology can help us see this will be a great fit for you, right? You're looking at your 6th house, you can see what jobs may really work by looking at the sign there, or what stelliums, what planets you have there. It's very important. So so I just want to really make this video to really help one to understand the energy signature of the 6th house, because once you start to just hear about the surface level of the 6th house, you get from a philosophical viewpoint, you begin to create imagery in your head. You begin to create these characteristics that make sense when you're analyzing your chart or analyzing another person's chart. You want to look at this area of a person's life or your life and take it into context what fits for you. Look at the element, the sign, the modality of that area, that 6th house. Look at the planets there or transiting it. You want to see how it's counteracting. Do you have yachts? Do you have a T-square? Do you have a grand trine? Do you have energy really frictioning into the 6th house? Because it will make your life make sense. You'll understand. Of course, people don't need to use astrology to see what's happening in their life. You just open your eyes and see. But when you begin to make those connections, you wake up to realizing, wow, I am really doing what I am called to do. I'm really here and everything is happening right on time. Out of, it's just we choose these outcomes. We choose this energy. It's what works for us. But so thank you so much for tuning in to Universal Law of Law. I hope this video has been helpful for you today. Peace.